So, you've made it. You've counted down the sleeps, survived the lengthy flight next to someone who used you as a pillow, made it through the intimidating customs, and now you're in London. During your time in this beautiful city, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with the tube and bus network, as you'll most likely rely on it heavily to get from point A to B. Luckily, there are several free apps available that will help you navigate your way around. You'll need to buy a £5 Oyster card and recharge it as needed. This will act as your access card into each station and bus. Now that you have your transported sorted, it's time to start exploring. There are so many interesting places to visit in London, but in this series, we'll be taking a closer look at popular attractions that won't cost you a cent. Up first, the British Museum. After a quick bag search and a suggested donation, you'll find yourself exploring some of Egypt's most famous artifacts. Yep, you heard right, Egypt. Among plenty of other British sculptures and paintings, this museum is home to the Rosetta Stone, along with parts of the Parthenon itself. There is also, of course, the expected, such as the souvenir shop and cafe. Avoid these at all costs, and head across the road to the cheaper options if you wish to buy a keyring or have a cup of coffee. If you don't want to spend a lot of money on food and drink during your time in London, try and plan your excursions to coincide with the periods in between mealtimes, as being hungry in an expensive area can lead to a heavy bill. Within a 15-minute walk from the British Museum is the National Portrait Gallery, which features art from the likes of Van Gogh and Sir George Hayter. If you're a lover of art with only a few days to explore London, you'll need to limit yourself, as getting through this entire gallery could take up a significant portion of the day. Besides, there are so many interesting places to check out in this area alone, not to mention the iconic Nelson's Column, the centerpiece of Trafalgar Square. This monument will almost certainly be on your must-see list if you're into your British history. However, if learning about war doesn't excite you, this next location certainly will. Even if you're not into architecture, London has a way of making everyone appreciate its diverse mix of new and old. Wouldn't it be great if there were a way to view it all from above without paying the earth? Of course, you could splurge on taking a trip up the Shard, one of London's newest additions to its skyline, or take a more relaxing ride on the London Eye, which is a fantastic way to see River Thames, Big Ben, and the Westminster Palace. But why go through all of that when you could experience panoramic views of London for free? Uninterrupted views of the Shard, the business district, and far out into the distance. The Sky Garden not only provides views that are sure to take your breath away, but also an unforgettable space in which to enjoy the experience. As the name suggests, this garden in the sky wraps around the top of the skyscraper, affectionately known as the walkie-talkie. You'll need to book a time slot a day or two in advance, but once you're up, you're free to explore, sit at the bar with a drink, or have a meal at the restaurant. And if you're in the market for a new Facebook profile picture, this is not a bad place to strike a pose. If you're not one for heights, you could always opt to walk across the Tower Bridge instead. Here you will find great views of the city and River Thames. While you're there, you may want to pop into the heavily guarded Tower of London, which is home to the Crown Jewels. Built in 1066, this building's history is one of the most fascinating in the city. From being used as a place of torture to becoming a public record office, this UNESCO World Heritage Site shouldn't be missed. From sightseeing to shopping, London is a place of diversity, and regardless of your budget, you'll always find something for yourself during your time here. It's no secret that Oxford Street is London's central hub for shopping, and with over 460,000 square meters of retail space, it's no surprise either that it holds the title for the busiest street in London. As a South African, shopping in Oxford Street can be daunting. Not to worry though, Zara, H&M, Topshop, and Foot Locker all offer similar products in South Africa for a lot less than you'll need to fork out here. And if you know where to shop, you can end up with some great deals at a price you can actually afford. Shops such as Primark and Marks & Spencer sell quality, fashionable clothing at an affordable price, even for those spending their hard-earned rands. You can pick up a t-shirt at Primark for as little as £1.50, or a comfortable pair of jeans for £15. Be sure to avoid Oxford Street during peak rush hour though, unless you enjoy becoming a sardine in a sea of people. If you still have your heart set on a bit of shopping during this time, you can always head over to Camden Town, known for its hipsters, punk rockers, and most importantly, cheap clothing stores. However, if you're on Oxford Street heading towards Marble Arch, you might want to rest your legs, escape from the crowds, and fill up on a well-deserved meal. How about a picnic in Hyde Park? Known for its vast open lawns and often dubbed as London's Central Park, Hyde Park is situated just to the west of Oxford Street. There are several shops around this area where you'll be able to pick up a few picnic snacks, so all you'll need to bring along is a small blanket. While you're in the park, don't forget to check out the Serpentine Gallery and the Princess Diana Memorial Fountain. And if you're willing to walk to the other end of the park, Kensington Palace houses a royal museum. From Marble Arch, you'll find Buckingham Palace an equal walking distance away, and you may even get a photo with one of the Queen's guards. If on the other hand you decide to start your Oxford Street shopping experience from Marble Arch, you'll still be able to enjoy a picnic at Soho Square Gardens when you reach the other end of the street. I know what you're thinking. Exactly how much walking am I meant to handle in one day? If your knees are weak from just the thought of all that walking, there's no need to worry. Remember that Oyster card? Why not use it on one of those famous red buses? Not only will your legs thank you the next day, but this is actually a fantastic way to see the city, especially if you're a lover of architecture. Skip the lengthy, expensive bus tours around London and plan your own. This will require some research before the trip though, as you'll need to choose which buildings you'd like to see. It's impossible to visit them all, but making the most of a double-decker bus certainly helps in being able to see a lot of them. One of the best vantage points you'll get is from the bus's front row on its top deck. These seats are available more often than you'd think. People just aren't all that willing to climb a few steps. If architecture interests you, chances are you'll appreciate a bit of modern art too. St. Paul's Cathedral is a convenient place to hop off the bus, walk over the Millennium Bridge, and spend some time at Tate Modern. This converted power station is filled with modern masterpieces, and the building itself is a work of art. You'll often find pieces from Picasso and a few other exhibitions from time to time. And as the sun sets on the city, this bankside location is the perfect place to be. With views of the skyline from over the river, you'll find it hard to resist a photo or two. As with many world-class cities, London never sleeps. You'll always find a buzz in the city, you just need to know where to look. Piccadilly Circus is a great place to start. Somewhat comparable to New York's Times Square, you'll find this part of the city alive and full of atmosphere no matter what the time is. You'll be able to watch live street performances, get some late-night shopping done, and experience bright billboards that light the streets below. You might also want to see a show on West End, but tickets don't come cheap. You could always head over to Leicester Square and visit the TKTS booth for half-price tickets for shows on that particular day. And if this is not your scene either, there are always plenty of bars throughout the city that offer a happy hour with half-price cocktails. Whether you enjoy taking it easy, living the fast life, or just going with the flow, London has something for everyone. It's just a matter of finding it. In part 3, we'll be taking a trip to New York, but in a way you certainly won't expect.